Good evening. This is Coach Rowe here with Trackaddixxs, here with another video. On this video, I'm going to talk about something that I've been observing as I go around. Currently, I'm coaching a high school athlete who is on an ascension to be one of the best sprinters in the country. We're reacclimating her to being a sprinter after a couple difficult years, especially last year with COVID. But as I go around and watch young sprinters run, and some sprinters that I've seen in the past, there's a lot of you young sprinters that don't understand how to run these sprint races, especially indoors. So I'm gonna just go over some tips really quickly. When I coach my athlete, I tell her that she needs to maximize every inch of her lane to cut down the distance without getting disqualified, and maximize the phases. I'm going to go over those phases now, and I'm going to go over how I train her to do it. And what's great is that she's been executing it to pretty much to perfection. And every time that she runs at least a 200, she's lowered her time. And I'm talking about she's going down like 0.3, 0.4. That's a lot of time to come down in a sprint race. There was one race she came down like 0.5 seconds. Now, some of her races are on flat tracks, so it's probably even more of a feat. But and granted, she has a long way to go. Like she's running 29.4 for the automatic. But considering that the school that she trains with, they don't allow them to run inside because I guess because they're scared somebody's going to fall, and all they do is 400 meters. So she's a sprinter that really doesn't sprint, and her time is coming down every week. Now I'm going to down the line get into what I was giving her to be able to accomplish that. In the meantime, where she can't run outside. I mean, it's we're here in Pennsylvania, New Jersey. It's in the 30s, sometime in the 20s, and she kind of suffers from a little bit of asthma, so I can't really have her outside in that. And then it's now she has muscles and everything, so it's very easy to pull a muscle and then she be out, for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, or whatever, from pulling a groin or pulling a hamstring or whatever, because it's cold outside. So err on the side of caution. But the weather is breaking here. By next weekend, the temperature in the afternoon will be in the upper 40s, so we'll be able to go back out there. But this video is talk about the 200, and so this track here is the Armory, and she's been fortunate enough to run at the Armory 4 times this year, and she has another meet scheduled hopefully next week to run up there. And so what I tell her in her phases at the 200 is, let's say for example, for ease of watching on this video, is that she's in lane 4, which is where the bright yellow line is going all around the track. So I tell her when she starts in lane 4, now they don't let a lot of high school races use blocks, but I tell her to set up in her lane, so when she starts, she's running directly into the inside of the lane, right into the curve, okay, of her lane. Of course, I'm telling her to get an explosive and violent start. What I tell her is the only place in the world where you can be violent and explosive and nobody's gonna say anything to you. So that's what she does. And then the second thing I tell her is to break the stagger. So if she's in lane 4 and the girl's in lane 5, your goal is to run that girl down in the first 50 meters, the first 75 meters. That's the goal. Every time. That's your rabbit. And she executes that. The difference I see with a lot of runners is when they come around the turn and they go on the straightaway, they're running, first of all, they're running all over the track. They're not running in a straight line. You guys are not running in a straight line. Remember, the fastest way to a point is a straight line. So if you're running a sprint and you're going back and forth in your lane, all you're doing is slowing yourself down. When she's running the sprint, if she's in lane 4, I don't want her out here in lane, closer to lane 5. I want her right against lane 4. Of course, watch your balance. Don't step on the line, because you will get disqualified if you step on the line a few times, maybe 3 times, especially on the curve. So as she's coming in to the curve, I tell her to, in the middle of the curve here, take a deep breath and then come off the turn as hard as you can, whip off the turn, and let the centrifugal force of the turn and the bank use that to your advantage to come downhill. Because the reality of an indoor track like the Armory, and make no mistake, the Armory is one of the fastest tracks in the world. You guys got to understand that's on the East Coast. If you're not taking your kids up to the Armory to run, you're missing out. I've taken her up there to run. It's only like $17 to enter, and it's right up in New York. There are other, great tracks. You got track down there, Virginia Beach. You got Ocean Breeze, which she'll be running there for the USA Track and Field Indoor Nationals. But we're really this year, I'm not really preparing her for indoor this year. I'm preparing her for indoor for her senior year, because that's going to be the time where she's really going to be doing something. We're going to parlay her outdoor performances, and then she's going to come back and, reiterate what she did for outdoors, and everybody can say, okay, she's for real. And what's going to be great about it is that while she's running in the low 29s right now, you're going to be able to see her progression. And it's going to be very easy for college coaches to recruit her and see her talent, because you're going to be able to see the progression very easily. But when she comes in to the turn, whip off the turn and come down the straightaway. Now, a lot of you young sprinters, what you do too is when you come off the turn, you get around 190, 195 meters and you slow down. You are running for time indoors. Every race is tight indoors. You might as well just accept it. You're not running for place, you're running for time. So what's the use in slowing down? There's no use. All you're doing is slowing yourself up. So the execution that I'm seeing from my athlete is going to serve her well coming outdoors. And those of you that aren't executing, I advise you to start. We have probably about 2 months left in the indoor season. Start cleaning up your indoor races. Shorten your distance that you run. If you're going to be a high level sprinter in high school, certainly in college, and if you have aspirations to go pro, you have to be a technician. All right, both of those. Okay, you have to be obsessed with every little detail of being a sprinter. That's just what it is. If you can't deal with that, then you should change your event. And also, if we're running a 400, the same thing indoors, the same thing applies. Violent start, right? And most of the time, like here at the Armory, they sometimes they break the pole. Sometimes, you know, as certain meets, you know, you break the pole. You break, excuse me, for the pole, right? So the goal indoors when you're running a 400 is to get the pole, because most of the time, 95% of the time, the person that gets that pole wins that race indoors. It's just how it is. Okay, so athletes, you can certainly hit me up through Trackaddixxs on YouTube, Trackaddixxs like it's spelled at gmail.com, and through direct message on Instagram, and I will certainly help you as much as I can. With technology nowadays, we can do a Zoom call. Like I have Zoom meetings with my athletes, you know, so I can certainly help you nowadays. If you're in another state, another country, I'll be glad to talk to you, glad to help you, because my goal is to help as many people as possible through this medium. My life was changed by some great coaches taking their time out for me, and that's what I would like to do. So I'm going to end this video now. This is Coach Rowe with another